One night this old man told his wife, he says, "Old woman, well, I'm gonna take that old dog in the morning and go hunting." She says, "Now I've told you need to take somebody with you now." She says, "Something's gonna happen to you. You're going out there hunting alone." But it's like stubborn old man is. That next morning, he got up, shouldered his old gun up, got his old dog, and away they went. Now, they'd been out quite a spell, and when finally they heard some rustling in the underbrush, and they looked, they spotted an old possum, and now he was getting through yonder, heading for home. Well, that old dog, he just dove right through that thicket, chasing that old possum. And by the time that old man made his way through the thicket, the old possum, he'd run up in a big old holler log. And there the man's dog stood at the big end of that log, and he looked up at the man. Then he looked back down at the log, and then up at the man again. Then he barked at him, as if he was trying to ask, "You want me to go in after him?" Now that man, he sized up that log and thought, "I'm a skinny feller. I believe I can scoot right up in that log and get that old possum myself." So he sent his old dog up to guard the small end of the log, and he leaned his rifle up against that tree and got down on all fours and started crawling up in there. Now he could hear that old possum up ahead of him, and that scurrying grew louder, so he knowed he was a-gaining on him. But the old log, it started getting a bit smaller as he got up through there, and he had to hunker down more. Finally he was moving along on his elbows. But he could tell he was gaining on that old possum, so he kept right on heading right up in there. Then he took and stretched his arm out. He got that old possum right by the tail. But just as he grabbed that possum's tail, that old possum scrunched up, pulled his tail right out of the man's grasp. That old man thought, "No, you don't. You ain't getting away from me like that." He pushed with his feet and pulled with his fingers, and finally he inched himself forward some more. Again, he grabbed that old possum's tail. Now this time, he got a firm hold on it. "Got you. You ain't getting away from me now," that old man said. Then he started trying to back out of the log, and it was then he made an important discovery. I'm stuck. And sure enough, he was indeed stuck. And no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't back out of that log. All he could do was just lay there, thinking, "Boy, I'm in big trouble now." The old woman told me not to go hunting alone, but I always told her hunting alone's the best way to make sure you won't get shot. Now just look at me. Boy, ain't this purty. At least if I brought somebody with me and they shot me, at least they knowed where I was at. Ain't nobody gonna know where I'm at but my dog. And that dog's about done. He'll just go home and eat when he gets hungry, and here I'll be. And even if someone happens to find my gun, they ain't gonna think to look up in this log. Boy, my wife's gonna be mad at me. She's gonna think I've run off with another woman. But I'm gonna die right here. Boy, ain't this pitiful. Someday this old log will rot away, and here I'll be, skeleton of a man hanging on to a skeleton of a possum. Ain't that pathetic? And he thought about all the things he'd done during his life, then remembered just how he voted for the last presidential election. And that right there made him feel so small that he just stood up and walked right out of that log.